What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, today marks the day that legendary hip hop rapper, MC, lyricist Big Pun died. So, I want to spend some time talking about Big Pun. Big Pun is definitely up there when you talk about true hip hop. I don't really care for a lot of music in general nowadays. I consider myself to be an old head when it comes to music. I just typically enjoy older music than a lot of the stuff that's out now. But Big Pun was one of those forces. Like anytime you heard him spit, he just had that rapid fire delivery. He had the multi-syllabic rhyme patterns, very complex. If you look at a lot of rappers currently, there's a lot of current rappers who I'm not gonna say they copied, but they definitely have listened to Big Pun and probably were inspired and or influenced in their style. Even guys like Eminem. Eminem has a lot of those same kind of creative, multi-syllabic, crazy rhymes. Like I pulled up and a pick up and a ripped up when a fifth up when a fifth of a cup. Like you know what I mean. He's gonna have that kind of really wordy wordplay, and that's what Big Pun was doing before a lot of guys. I mean, he was out before a lot of guys. Big Pun, hell of an MC. He did a whole hell of a lot for Puerto Rico. He did the Puerto Ricans proud. It's unfortunate that he had an untimely death, died far too soon. He was overweight and it led to a heart attack. So, Big Pun, he's definitely one of my favorites. I put him up there. Like, if you match him, you can't. I don't even compare him to anybody nowadays because lyrics have, to me, seemed like a thing of the past where people focus more on like do that nay nay and like dances and shit. It's not really about like a message or a substance in music and hip hop especially. It's just about melodic, trying to make people dance and catchy hooks and shit like that. But Big Pun definitely did it for the Boricuas, and I don't know. He has people rocking even to this day. You can pop in a Big Pun. I use it for my gym mix when I go to the gym. I definitely got Capital Punishment and some Big Pun, his other album, on my gym playlist, and it just gets me through my workout. I need to actually get back in the gym, start working out again. But I also want to talk about just Puerto Rico in general. They're looking for the next great Puerto Rican, and as you guys know, Puerto Rico has boasted some great champions. You got guys like Wilfredo Gomez, Hector Macho Camacho, rest in peace. Felix Tito Trinidad, Wilfred Benitez, Sixto Escobar, Wilfredo Vasquez Sr., and his son Jr. And currently, you got guys that are still active: Miguel Cotto, Danny Garcia, Felix Verdejo. Who else is out there? Gay Rosado, Luis Colazo recently made noise. Rosado lost his fight against the Charlo brother. You got other people in the entertainment industry like J Lo. Just Puerto Rico's pretty strong as far as boxing. Trinidad is no longer an active fighter. He was a huge sensation. Miguel Cotto had a series of back-to-back losses. The Mayweather fight, the Trout fight. He looked good against Delvin Rodriguez, but Delvin Rodriguez is not necessarily a household name and or a world beater. But it was a good comeback fight for Cotto, and it proves that he can still put asses in the seats. He still has that drawing power. Huge Miguel Cotto fan, always have been. He's just a no-nonsense, likable guy, humble family man. I'm looking forward to the Sergio Martinez fight if that fight is made. I haven't heard anything recently, so I don't know the outcome, but it looked like they were getting closer and closer to closing the deal. Looking forward to that. Gabe Rosado, he's a tough fighter. I don't necessarily think he's the upper echelon. He's kind of middle of the road, but if you sleep on him, he will stop you or give you a tough fight in general. I don't know really where he really goes from here. He went back down to weight against the Charlo brother after he's been bouncing up to 160. Fought Gennady Golovkin there, Jay Leon Love, and he also fought Peter Quillen up there. And then he came back down for the Charlo fight, which might not have been a good idea because he was just acclimating to 160. So I don't really know. He's kind of in a gatekeeper status. Maybe he should give himself some rest and relaxation. Then you have Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is a person that I, for the life of me, cannot understand why he's slept on so much. He's Puerto Rican American, so he doesn't have the same kind of following that Miguel Cotto or Trinidad have or had. The crazy thing is, well, it's not crazy. It's just a cultural thing. There's a lot of cultures, Latin cultures, Latinos, where if you don't speak the native language, then they don't consider you a true Latino, and that's just how it goes. You don't speak Spanish, you're still Puerto Rican, but they consider you more or less like Americanized. Same thing in a lot of Mexican communities as well. You look at like if for Mexican food in general, Taco Bell claims to be Mexican food, but if you go to Tijuana or a lot of places, that's not necessarily they don't have Mexican pizzas and half the shit you can find at Taco Bell, so it's considered more Americanized Mexican food, and that's kind of what they consider Danny Garcia. I'm guessing an Americanized Puerto Rican, so someone who by association and by you know what I mean heredity, because his dad is Rican and his mom, that he's their fighter, but they don't back him the same way that they were back in Trinidad. Now it looks like Golden Boy, Danny Garcia, Angel Garcia, they're getting hip to that. They realize that their son is a tremendous champion, a good fighter, and he has a bright future ahead of himself. So they're trying to get the Puerto Rican demographic and the Puerto Rican crowd on board. That's why his next fight against a lesser opponent, I would say. Not lesser in terms of Herrera's garbage or nothing. I don't think that. I don't think he's garbage. He could give him a tough fight. He could even upset anybody, really. Beat Ruslan Provodnikov. I don't think he will upset Danny Garcia, but I mean, it's boxing. Anything that can happen. He's not a scrub. But it's a guy that's, if you just fought Lucas Matisse, I don't really see much to worry about with Herrera. If anything, he has the ability to perhaps make the fight look ugly and make your win look bad, like a Carlos Molina at 54. But I don't see him like really winning that fight. He doesn't have the KO power, in my opinion, to put Danny Garcia out. So it's kind of a feel-good fight. Golden Boy, their marketing team, they're getting hip to that. They're trying to get the Puerto Rican crowd, the Puerto Rican buy-in to Danny Garcia, and hopefully they support it. It's been a while since we had a Trinidad type fighter. You of course got Cotto, but as far as the up and comers, who do you have? You have Danny Garcia, who's Puerto Rican American. You got Gabe Rosado, who just recently lost. There's another prospect that was coming up, Luis Orlando de Valle, and he fought Vic Darchinyan and wasn't able to win that fight. Darchinyan showed that he was far more seasoned and he was the raging bull, and that didn't look good. And you had Thomas Delorme, who lost to Abregu in a convincing fashion. He was another fighter that was like looking like he was on the up and coming. So not really much to pick from. Really, you have the old heads like a Miguel Cotto, someone who's been around the sport, kind of winding their career down. Someone who's Puerto Rican American like a Danny Garcia. Someone who's just like a middle of the road like Rosado. It looks like the next best thing from Puerto Rico, just in terms of the complete package, is Felix Verdejo. And I think Verdejo has the ability to be the next Trinidad. Obviously, there's a lot of questions that are unanswered. That's the thing with boxing. You can look great against lesser competition, but when you step up, those are going to be the real tests. Kind of like a Gary Russell Jr. That's why people are getting pissed seeing Gary Russell Jr. fight these tomato cans and people who are cab drivers, because it doesn't really prove much. You can beat those guys, that's cool, but what happens when you fight a Daniel Ponce de Leon or Johnny Gonzalez, someone who can crack, someone who has that veteran experience, someone like a Gamboa, Mikey Garcia, or whatever? How's your chin going to hold up? What do you do if you battle adversity? That's ultimately what we're waiting for Felix. We got to see how he holds up against the upper echelon fighter, but so far he's looked like a superstar. He has a look that's sellable. He speaks Spanish, and he looks like a good fighter. So looking forward to see what comes out of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico versus Mexico has some of the best fights that I've goddamn seen in my life. So shout out to all the Puerto Ricans, the Boricuas, the people at home with their chancletas. And really, I'm just looking forward to some good boxing, some good fights, some good fighters. Let me know what you guys think. Is it looking promising for Puerto Rico and Puerto Rican fighters or not? So rest in peace to Big Pun. Shout out to all the Puerto Ricans. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.